I love that sound. Hello and welcome, or welcome back to Cultist Simulator. A real quick update from me. The Mariner mod, if you're not following the Book of Hours playthrough, I mentioned in there briefly, but with the Mariner mod, we're essentially up to the point where the mod makers have finished, not finished, we're up to the point where they've finished making. They need to make more stuff for the rest of the story, you know. So it's on hiatus until an update comes out with more content, and then I will definitely be hopping back onto that because I like that mod and I want to play more of it. If by the way there are other mods that I should take a look at, feel free to leave a comment in the video of like, hey, go check out this mod, it seems interesting, or you'll love it, that sort of thing. That'd be great. Also, obligatory, like the video if you like the video, subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Hopefully some new people might see this video, as this is a new topic. So, you know, hi, welcome. Anyway, back to what's going on. Well, I've been doing a few speedruns, as the title of the video probably gives away. Doing a few speedruns of Cultist Simulator over on Twitch, specifically something called the Grail Ascent, which is you start as the aspirant, who is the starting character in Cultist Simulator. Cultist Simulator, a bit of a roguelike game, although the most as unrecognizable as a roguelike as you could probably get. You do runs as a character, and then you can pick other characters after that run ends, such as the physician or the policeman, or someone else like a dancer if you have the DLC for that. And they all have sort of different things about them, different niches, quirks. Anyway, starting character, the aspirant, you play as them and you speedrun to something called the Grail Ascent, which I'll explain in a bit. So what are these speedruns like? Well, if you check the speedrun leaderboard, you'll see that they sort of vary between 15 minutes to 20-30 minutes long. I will be aiming for currently I'm aiming for about under an hour. Why is that? Am I terrible at the game? Well, no. You see, the official rules for this speedrun is, and I'm paraphrasing a bit here, a run must start and a run must end. Everything else between then is between you and God. More or less. It's very vague on what an actual thing is. You have to do the Grail Ascent, but you're allowed to mod the game, and there are no rules on, you know, not modding the game. So what seems to be the case with the leaderboards is that they've modded, sort of set the RNG to for those of you who aren't familiar, there are a few RNG elements in that. There are things called, like, there are a deck of cards, say like different books and different followers that you can recruit, and instead of you recruit a certain person, you draw from a deck of followers or deck of potential followers, and you draw one of them, and congratulations, you have this person. What a lot of the runners seem to have done is added in a mod to basically take out the RNG elements to make it, you know, as if you received the best RNG for this run, you know. So yeah, sort of like a seeded run, if you will. However, I feel that kind of, for me, takes the fun out of the game. I'm not to the point where I'm saying, that's cheating or whatever. It's just, it kind of takes the fun and the point out of the speedrun for me. because it becomes a game of putting cards into slots as fast as you can, because you can play knowing exactly everything that comes up and just grumble. So for me, just having fun, I'm going to be playing without that sort of seeded element. There is one piece of RNG manipulation which I'll explain when I get into it, and there is one other change that I've added to the game. I'll show you. I've scribbled on the board. These are all just drawings. Basically, this inner board area is a PNG or something. It's a image, and I've just added onto the image and changed it a bit to kind of give a bit of instructions. See, the thing, even as someone who knows the game in and out, whenever I look at a board and I just see either one card or hundreds of cards, it sort of like washes over me, and I stop really following because, it's kind of hard to follow. Might just be ADD, I definitely have some form of ADD, since I mentioned this inner texture is a texture. The outer texture, by the way, is a repeat. You can't unsee it now. You see, it's sort of a printed. It repeats itself. So if you want to mod the outside texture, be aware that you'll get like the same image 6 times in print. Entirely unrelated. Just fun fact. The one that remember earlier when I said I have one piece of RNG manipulation. That's over here. Well, not over here, but this is my little image indicating. So there is a thing called the stag door riddle, which this here is the stag door. In order to get into the stag door, you need to solve the stag door riddle, which you get from the white door, which you get from the wood, which you get from Dreaming on Passion. Irrelevant. The stag door riddle is a random riddle every time. What made me lost? What are the words that make sacrifice sweet, etc.? There are 5 of them, and you get that about halfway through the run. So about half an hour into a run, you have a 4 in 5 chance of a good run. Not just, like, by this point you've already overcome a lot of RNG, but about half an hour into a run, there's a 4 in 5 chance of it just being a dead run, because you won't be able to... with the strategy we're using, you can't plan around it, essentially. So I've just added that in again because this is just for me having fun. For me, having fun is not, hey, you're having a good run, here's a 4 in 5 chance of it being bricked. After a lot of RNG elements coming into play. So that's the only piece of RNG I've changed, and obviously the board I've scribbled on just to show what the hell's going on. And what is the hell going on? We're trying to do something called a Grail Ascent, which is we get a bunch of Grail and we do a rite. We perform a ritual. Easy, right? We start off with this guy here, or this menial employment. We're a precarious position as a hospital porter. Miserable, but it's all you can find just now. Yeah, we have a job, we give that up and we start a cult. Easy. Starting from there, we get Grail 2 lore, we get Grail 6 lore, we get the Ascension Sensation 6, and then we perform the rite, and we're done. That's easy. Those are our splits, if you will. Sounds easy enough. How the hell do we do that? The rite, by the way, here's a bit of information. For the ritual, we will need the level 6 Ascension itself. We will need a romantic follower because for the Grail Ascension in particular, if you have a romantic partner, you can sacrifice them. They can take part in the ritual to make it easier for you. Let's just put it that way. Om nom nom, tasty. So yeah, we have a romantic partner to make the ritual easier for us, and we have them. It's one of the Grail partners. We have two options, which is what this weird image is. If you're wondering what the weird image is, it's one of Saliba and Regina, I think. Both of those are potential Grail followers. And I've done like a cross split between the two images because I'm real fancy like that. They provide Grail 10 if we get them up to max level. So they will help us in the ritual. We need 20 something of it instead of 36. We have an influence 10 and we have Grail 6 lore to do the ritual. Okay, so how do we do that? How do we get the lore? Let's look at the lore first. We, based on the intro, the aspirant intro, we wind up with directions to Moreland's bookstore. Moreland's bookstore is kind of shit, but it's a way of getting books. The reason why it's kind of shit is because our player character buys books from there via they walk in, they absolutely fucking panic, they grab the first book they can see, pay a month's wage for it, and then run away before they look at what the book is. What essentially that means is every time you go there you draw a book at random from a deck of books, and it could be, you know, some random edge book written in Greek or something. I'm not sure if that is an option, but you might not even speak Greek and your character will just be like, I want that book, thank you, bye. And you've paid for it, which is problematic because that's a waste of money, and money is going to be a big burden for us because we're not manipulating RNG. So as fast as we can, we try and find Oriflame's auction house, which I think they share the same deck. Oriflame has a few extra books, namely Stum. You can't get Stum from Moreland's, I don't think. You can get it from Oriflame. We find Oriflame by exploring with either a follower. We can pick any follower, it doesn't have to be our romantic partner, or we risk some health. Our health, we start off with 1 from menial employment. I usually save it until we find a follower to do so. We're interested in 5 books essentially. Skeleton Songs provides Grail 2. Orchid Transfigurations, A Birth provides Grail 4. Orchid Transfigurations, A Feast provides Grail 2. Both of the Orchid Transfigurations are written in Latin, so we need to be able to speak Latin to be able to translate them. We get that from a Latin book, or rarely we may encounter a guy who can teach us Latin, a tutor, but the odds of finding them are very slim because it's like a 1 in 30 each time we draw them, so we're not going to rely on that. We're instead going to try and find a book for it. Then also we need Stum, because Stum gives us a Winter 6 lore, which we need to get through the Sag door, and it provides us with the right, the Sunset Rite, which we use to win the game. Grail 2 plus Grail 2 combines together into a Grail 4, then 2 Grail 4s from this one as well, combines into a Grail 6. That is how we get Grail 2, then Grail 6. As soon as we get any Grail 2, we can form a cult. We want to form a cult with Grail and not with... We start off with a Lantern 2 lore. We don't want to start with that because that would give us a Lantern cult instead of... Sorry, Society cult. We don't want a... We want a Grail cult, not any other one, because when we are exalting our follower up to level 10, we need to use our matching cult influence. So because they give us Grail, If we have a Grail Society, they are helping towards it, rather than if we are a Lantern Society, they ain't doing shit for us. Simple. Great. Yes. Speaking of followers, we talk about some lore. Doesn't have to be Lantern, can be any lore, doesn't matter. And we get a random follower usually. We're just drawing from a deck, and we need to draw either Saliba or Regina, two people who are honestly, well, Saliba's a despicable, horrible person, and Regina's just kind of a what do they call her? She demands a lot from her partners, both attention and money, mainly money. So, you know, not the best human beings. A good thing we don't have the best interest at heart for them. So once we have them, we use our cult, or once we have any follower or any potential follower, we form a cult. Once we have them, we can romance them. We talk to them about our desire, so this for Knife and Fork is our desire. That becomes this when we level it up enough. We talk to them about that, and we take them to a strip club, and they're like, "Ooh, that's pretty dope." And bam, romantic partners, easy. We also need to get them to level 10. We're using cult math here, so 2, 5, 10 are the levels. So there's 3 essentially. So they start off at 2 with 7 influence, 7 Grail influence. We promote them to level 5. They give us 2 and also Grail 6. That's at least 7. 2 and 6 is 8. Yeah. So we can easily, with Grail 6, get them to level 5 influence. And then to get them to level 10 influence, we need 21 influence to go into the ritual. They're providing 5, our Grail lore provides 6. That's 11, we need 10 more. We get 10 more from this influence. Influence 10. Where do we get influence 10? Also, by the way, we need another influence 10 from in order to perform the ritual. So we go to the stag door. Remember how I said we need to get in there for some reason? Well, this is what we need it for. We go in there, and then there's a thing called the Ascent of Knives. Basically, there's a face down card, and we're going to draw that face down card every time. Occasionally, it'll be this. It might be a different influence, but fuck them, they're useless. In fact, one of them is kind of killing us. I'll explain that in a bit. We draw this a whole bunch. A 6 influence plus a 6 influence makes a 10 influence. We use the first one to promote our follower, our romantic partner, to level 10. Then we use the other one in the ritual to win the game. In order to keep influences, because influences decay over time, there is a woman called Salachana, who we might draw when looking for followers. If we do, that's great. We can talk to her, and we talk to her about the influence, and that prevents it from decaying for about 60 seconds, and then we just keep doing that over and over again. Alternatively, we have to hold it in a study verb. This is a work verb. We also have at some point get a thing called a study verb, which is yellow. We just hold it there in the recipe. We don't, we don't cook anything in the recipe. We just threaten to, and it prevents it from decaying as long as we hold on to it. By the way, in order to get the Grail, in order to get this Grail 6 thing here, we start off with Temptation Enlightenment from this card. We don't want that. We want Temptation Sensation, so we dream on the Temptation Enlightenment with some health, and that becomes Temptation. That one. Then we do something which I forget what to do, and I'll have to look it up, which becomes this at level 3. I forget. I'll figure it out later. And then when it's at level 3, every now and then a certain season comes around, and as long as we have a prisoner on standby. There's no other way to call it. We have someone locked in a cupboard somewhere, and they become food. We eat them. We're a cannibal. Which is also where we need the what we do with other followers who aren't romantic partners. Remember when I said we're not using RNG manipulation, so we will have a few kicking around that we don't care about. Well, we need them for this. Side note, there is one particular follower called a moth. There's a moth pawn who kind of like a faceless nobody. If we promote them to level 5 and then just let them go insane, they become a free prisoner for us. All the other ones that we promote them to prisoner. In order to in doing so, we create some notoriety, which is the other way that we can die, if you will. So ways we can get fucked. We can run out of funds. Since we need funds to live, we also need funds to buy books. If we run out, that is essentially we failed the RNG check and the run is dead, because we'll be working to acquire more, but we just won't earn enough fast enough to keep pumping out books, so we might as well just call the run dead at that point. That can be delayed. Initially we get 10 starting funds, which is part of our buffer. Also there's a woman called Poppy. Again, we might draw her in the when looking for followers. She's a patron and she's interested in doing a favour for us. She gives us about 18 money, technically 10 plus a silver coin, which we can take to the auction house and sell for more money. 18 money, and all she wants from us in return is a favour, and someone else can pay that favour for us. Someone else pays the price. So yeah, that's another potential place we can get money. If we don't have money and we haven't found all our books, we're essentially fucked, and the run is dead. Another way that the run can die is, remember how I said that imprisoning people causes notoriety? Basically, the police get annoyed when you imprison people, and if we're not careful, our first piece of notoriety comes when we start the cults. They get the suppression bureau, the secret FBI of no occult magic is allowed, cotton onto us, and we get some notoriety from that. If we don't let that go away, which we won't because we don't have time for it because we're speedrunning, it can become worse if we gain notoriety from imprisoning 3 more people. You only really need 2 notoriety for it to end, but you kind of are trying to mitigate that either with, well, I don't want to get too much into it, otherwise you wouldn't have a reason to watch my speedruns, but, you know. That is another risk that we have to monitor and control. The third and final risk, well, there's one more, but so there's dread and fascination. We don't have to worry shit about fascination because nothing we're doing is giving us fascination, and also fascination is killed by dread. We are going to be shitting out dread. Stum gives us dread just every time a particular season ticks around. As time passes, we're going to be getting restlessness, which decays into dread, and also whenever we try and roll for these influences, one of the ones that we draw that isn't one of these decays into dread. So we're going to have a lot of that, and we're going to effectively be spending our money on trips to the strip club and trips to go buy opium to deal with the dread, to stop us from dying. So there's another way that we lose all our fucking money and die. Assuming none of that happens and we actually do succeed, we win. We go ahead and we put level 6 Ascension Sensation, a romantic interest follower at level 10, an influence at level 10, and Grail 6 in the thing. 26 is the number we need for Grail, and we win. Easy. Nothing possibly can go wrong, right? I'll be putting up a run. Like I said, I tried this on Twitch. Unfortunately, I'm sort of a Twitch noob, and VODs, I didn't switch on VODs, so the only proof I have is when I remembered to start recording. I made one successful run, which really should not have been successful. I fucked it up about every way possible, other than just killing the run because I ran out of funds. But I managed to save it, and that's if nothing else, it's a good example of what not to do. I'll be posting it as a separate video, so if you want, feel free to go check that out, or check description. I'll put a link to my Twitch, and I'll be planning to speedrun this more. So I'll also be posting here whenever I go, when I plan to go live on Twitch. So either follow me on YouTube or follow me on Twitch, or do both. Is it following on Twitch? Like I said, I'm a Twitch noob. I think it's subscribing on Twitch costs money, but you follow them for free. I mean, you don't need to. You don't need to pay to follow someone on Twitch. I think you probably already know, or you don't know, and you wouldn't be following me anyway on there because you don't use the site enough to get notifications. You know what I mean. Or if you don't, you don't. I'm bad at explaining. This is the fourth time I've attempted this explanation. The first was on Twitch, and then 3 failed attempts because I either forgot to click record or I just didn't like how it turned out. I'm rambling now. Follow me on Twitch. Subscribe on YouTube if you want to get more information. And like I said before, if you know of any good mods that I should try out for Cultist Simulator or Book of Hours, let me know, because I loved the Mariner mod, and I wanna sink my teeth into more variety. Variety is the spice of life and everything, or cannibalism. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I was about to say the episode, but it's just a one-off video of me explaining this. If you're new here, if you got lured in by the promise of speedruns or something, if you're interested in that sort of thing, let me know. Let me know what you want to hear about. I know a lot about Cultist Simulator, and if you're not that familiar with it, I can provide a bit of explanation. Though a lot of the point of Cultist Simulator is learning. If you want to learn about the speedrunning side, which doesn't seem that common. It doesn't seem that mainstream. It's very small. I can probably explain a few things, you know. I'm fucking rambling now. Click to name. Bye. Thank you for watching. Peace.